Thanks so much for waking up with us this morning. I'm Mary Strong alongside Kai Beach, who's filling in for Jerry Steffen. He's on vacation this week. Yesterday was, need I say, zany?
Zany. It was moist, it was hot, it was humid, very uncomfortable conditions out there. We saw thunder, lightning. So very frightening. It was
indeed. I mean, I was surprised at how much it rained. I mean, I was expecting a little bit of drizzle, but it was raining in many areas.
Yeah, India almost saw half an inch of rain.
Wow, that's incredible. And today?
Today, slight chances.
Okay.
Very small chances, but it could happen, especially in our high desert and mountain communities.
Okay, all right, we'll check in with you a little bit later.
Appreciate
Thanks so much, Kai.
You got it.
On to our top story this morning. The stormy weather in the valley created some dangerous conditions for residents, many of whom lost power. This is video from Desert Hot Springs showing what happened after a lightning strike hit a power pole. Take a look at that. Nearly 4,800 customers lost power because of it. Crews from SoCal Edison were on scene all day, making repairs and restoring power. We heard from officials about safety tips if you encounter something like this.
If you see a down power line, stay at least 100 feet away from it, 8 car lengths, and call 911. So we always assume any power line that happens to have fallen is live. Especially here in the desert, we are able to have very quick responses anytime there's an outage, and we send crew members quickly to evaluate what's going on, to assess how to restore power safely and quickly as they can, 24 hours a day, every day of the year.
At this time, Edison and Imperial Irrigation District are no longer reporting any outages in the valley. Take a look at this. Thieves stealing pool equipment in Palm Springs. Palm Springs police released this video yesterday, which they say happened over the weekend on Lawrence Crossley Road. The equipment is valued at more than $1,000. You can contact authorities if you have any information about this theft.
Please, Margaret.
This was caught on camera, a home security camera capturing the attempted stabbing of a Cathedral City police officer. This incident happened in late July, but now the police department is talking to us about what happened. Here's NBC Palm Springs' Antonio Marquez with more.
That's right, the Cathedral City Police Department wants to help with the mental health crisis in the community with cases that are going on now or in the future.
Please, Margaret. Get back!
In July of this year, the Cathedral City Police Department responded to a call that ended with one of the officers being stabbed.
Officers responded to a residence in reference to a family disturbance. When the officer arrived to the residence, the suspect opened the door and immediately began attacking the officer with a knife. The officer was able to subdue him until his backup arrived, and then they were able to take him into custody.
Although authorities are still investigating whether or not it was a mental health case, the department says they are prepared with the proper resources.
Other cases in which a family member or someone in the community is having a mental episode, the process for us is always the same. We try to talk to them first, try to talk to see what's going on, see if they're on medication, if they're missing their medication, try to get as best as we can, as much of their history that they will volunteer. And then if they do need help, there's a few ways we can go about it.
In some cases, the symptoms or signs of a crisis are not easy to see.
I've seen it all to where the family member is saying, no, they're hiding it, all the way up to someone is saying, hey, I can hear voices, or the voices are telling me this. So it's really case specific. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I think we have to keep in mind that we're here to serve the public. We're here to help this individual. We're not there against the individual. We're trying to do the best we can to provide the care that he needs.
Remember to look for resources for your loved ones so they can get the help they need. Antonio Marquez, NBC Palm Springs.
And we're going to head outside right now and take a live look from our Agua Caliente casino camera in Palm Springs. A lot calmer out there than yesterday morning. Let's check back in with Kai in the Weather Center for a look at your forecast. Kai?
Yeah, hey, Mary, we're tracking hot and humid conditions over the next few days. Some of that monsoonal moisture that's going to continue. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, but a lot less. than they were yesterday. Current conditions, 80 degrees. That sounds nice, but take a look at that humidity, 54%. Muggy outside. Rainfall totals. This font is small, but the impact was big. Palm Springs saw just under 1/4 of an inch. Whitewater, about 1/3 of an inch. In Indio, almost 1/2 an inch of rain yesterday. Now, the big story, it's the humidity. It's going to start to dry out over the next few days as we head into the weekend, but it's going to feel uncomfortable for the next few days. On the radar, nothing much to show here, but we could see some possible thunderstorms and showers, especially in our high desert communities. For the high temps today, Indio 104, Palm Springs 102, up the hill Joshua Tree 93, and Big Bear City a cool 72 degrees. This morning walk forecast, it's going to be muggy out there. 6 o'clock, just over 80 degrees. 8 o'clock, we're looking at 86. By 10 a.m., we're just over 90, and at noon, we're just under triple digits. Wind gusts right now, pretty calm. Palm Springs International, 6 miles an hour. Whitewater, 5. And our friends in 29 Palms, thank you for your service. We're looking at 6 miles an hour. High temperatures today, a lot of people leaving the desert. Denver, the mile-high city, 90 degrees. Dallas, Texas, 93. Atlanta, Georgia, 83 degrees. Minneapolis, 64. And our friends in the Bay Area, they're looking at 70 degrees. Today, it's going to remain hot and humid. We're surrounded by showers and thunderstorms. Nothing happening right here, right now on the valley floor, but we do have a ridge of high pressure near the Four Corners. That's going to create some uncomfortable conditions. 3-day forecast brought to you by Comfort Air. Double digits. Take a look at that over the next few days when it comes to highs, and those overnight lows are in the high 70s and low 80s. Full forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Kai, thanks. Well, the Riverside County Department of Animal Services is introducing a new way for dog lovers to pre-adopt their future best friend. It's called the DIBS program. Starting this month, visitors can place dibs on dogs that are still on their legally required stray hold period. This ensures that when the hold ends, if their family has not reclaimed the pet, the dog goes home with an adopter the very same day. It's as easy as falling in love with the dog, calling dibs, and picking the pet up as soon as the hold ends. It's currently in person only and available at all 4 Riverside County shelter locations. The Coachella Valley Firebirds and One Valley Foundation are launching the Ultimate Firebirds Classroom Grant. Now through September 15th, you can nominate a classroom in the Valley to get a $2,500 grant. 2 classrooms in the elementary, middle, and high school levels will each receive grant funding to help buy school supplies and other classroom essentials. You can learn more on our newsroom tab at NBCPalmSprings.com. The city of Indio just received a big honor, the Pro Housing designation from California's Department of Housing and Community Development. The award recognizes Indio's commitment to speeding up housing production and building more equitable communities. With this designation, Indio now has access to additional funding, opportunities, priority processing, and incentives through several state programs designed to boost affordable housing. Indio is now the first city in the Coachella Valley and only the 3rd in Riverside County to receive this designation. The achievement comes on the heels of another major recognition. Indio was ranked among the top 25 most livable small cities in the nation. Cathedral City wants to get the community involved with their emergency response protocols. Enrollment is open now for the city's community emergency response team. The classes are held in November. They help the public prepare for earthquakes, fires, and a health crisis. It's in partnership with Professional Emergency Response Services and helps people on the scene provide help until professionals arrive. You can sign up now by visiting our newsroom tab on NBCPalmSprings.com. If you're traveling north through Palm Desert this week, multiple lane closures will take effect. The first one is this morning in the southbound Monterey Avenue. Number 1 lane will be closed on Monterey Avenue on Highway 111 from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. this morning. And on Thursday, the number 1 lane will be closed in both directions on Washington Street and Harris Lane from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Vista Chino through the Wash will be closed starting at 6:30 this morning for maintenance work. The shoulder and drainage lines will be cleared and sand will be relocated to the south side of the Wash. The road should be reopened by this afternoon. It's time now for Where in the Valley, where we show you a photo of a location somewhere in the Coachella Valley and you guess where it is. So let me show you the photo. Take a good look at this. Have you been here? You'll have a little time to think about it. We're going to reveal this location at the end of our broadcast. I'll give you a little hint before we get there. Coming up next on your morning news, Starkey Sowers stops by to talk about herbal extracts and how you can use them to improve your health. That's coming up next. But a little bit later on, Mandy Gaither talks about new blood pressure guidelines on Your Health Today. We're going to head outside and take another live look, this time at your Agua Caliente casino camera in Rancho Mirage. Still super hazy out there this morning. As Kai mentioned, it's muggy. You'll have more on that coming up.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 6.
Wellness Wednesday is sponsored by Clark's Nutrition Natural Foods Market. Live better, we can help.
Herbal extracts have been used for centuries, and now more people are turning to them to boost their health. From supporting immunity to increasing energy, these natural remedies are gaining attention for their potential benefits. Starkey Sowers is here with tips on how to safely incorporate herbal extracts into your daily routine. Hi, Starkey.
Hi, how are you, Mary?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
This is an area that I've never really delved into because to be honest with you, I don't know how to use them.
Right, and which is legit. Okay, so first of all, let's think about this. Let's do a little bit of history about an herbalist. So I went out in the fields today, okay? So I picked up some chaparral, I picked up some sage.
Wow, look at you.
I got some eucalyptus. And by the way, in our produce section, I got some aloe. Okay, so but Mitch Coven, the guy who makes this herbal extract for us, has been in business probably for about 40 years. As an herbalist, he used to go out in the fields and gather herbs, and then on the weekend, he would make the herb preparations up for his patients.
Oh, interesting.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
I mean, so...
Straight from the earth.
Straight from the earth,
wow,
right? So what he ended up doing, though, because he was so overwhelmed with it, he just started mass producing herbal extracts and different types of herbal products. Don't let me tell you this, but he probably makes 70% of the herbs that are on our shelves.
Really?
Yes. So he's an amazing individual. Incredible. So what happened for years, though, was how would you know what herb to use, okay?
Yes. That is a tough one.
Okay, so that's a tough one. So literally, here's some powders right out here, right,
yes,
Mary? So this is going to be a tough one for you, okay?
Okay. Oh, do I taste it?
Yeah, so we're going to taste these together. Just take a little tiny
Which
bit.
Which one is this?
So this, I'm not going to tell you, but what I want you to do is taste it. You're going to taste
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hello.
Let it sit there for a little bit. You're going to get a little fennel taste.
Very herbal.
Okay, does this all of a sudden, it should right about now start getting kind of bitter.
It is. You're right.
One of the things that herbalists did is they had 4 categories they worked with. One of them was called bitters, okay, which is for digestion and elimination.
Yes.
That is aloe.
It's aloe?
That is aloe leaf.
It's
not
aloe leaf,
gel, the inside jelly.
So that is pure aloe?
Yes, it's the leaf, though.
Interesting.
It's not the actual inside jelly stuff.
No wonder it's so bitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Here's the next one.
That's good for digestion.
Digestion and elimination, okay?
What's
so
this?
just a tiny bit. Might have to take a little bit more.
Ooh, that's
kind of spicy?
A little spicy, yes.
Kind of tastes pretty good?
Yes, what is it?
Ginger.
Ginger.
Right. So what the herbalists knew, that was another category, number 2. Anytime you smelled and tasted at the same time, that's an aromatic herb.
Oh,
increases circulation, helps like with all sorts of different types like mucous membrane situations such as like colds, flus, stuff like that. Immunity, all those different things, right?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So here comes the next one.
Better
right?
than eating a straight ginger root.
Yes, it is.
What's this?
So what you'll notice, and sometimes you can use a liberal amount of this.
Ooh.
It's totally different substance, and what you'll notice if you leave it for a while, it starts to dry up the mouth from all the secretions you got from the bitters, right?
Right.
So that's red raspberry, and it's an astringent, and what that does is tones and tightens, typically commonly used for females for helping like with uterus issues and things like that.
Yes. Ooh, lovely.
Fun stuff.
Wow.
Right. Last one on the list is this one. All right. And this is marshmallow.
Well, no wonder it tastes so sweet.
And it's just sweet, and it calms everything down, gets rid of all the bad things that I just gave you, and you feel better,
That's
right?
right, it does. What does marshmallow do for
So
you?
marshmallow is used typically externally as well as internally. It's soothing to the mucous membranes. The other thing, of course, that it does is it helps with the digestive system and calming down the fire, so to speak.
Oh, wonderful.
But now you know how the herbalists back in the day actually picked out,
that's so
this herbal work for this and this and that.
That's so great.
It's all done scientifically.
And you've got quite
now.
a big display that you can. And what I love about Clark's is that you can go there and get help. You don't just. Sometimes in other markets, I stare at the aisle and I go, I don't even know where to begin.
And try to do AI or whatever you can get your hands on. Yeah.
But with you guys, it's nice because everyone there is so helpful and so knowledgeable. Some of the folks that you have at your store have been there for 30 years.
Yes,
That's incredible.
and more. Yeah.
And more. That's amazing. So, so this is just lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's like fun, and understanding how to use herbal extracts is, I think, to me, one of the primary things people could try. Because it's very abrupt and very unique.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Sharky. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you. And we'll be right back.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Wednesday morning. We're tracking hot and humid conditions here across the Coachella Valley. We're taking a live look at the Agua Caliente Casino camera in the beautiful city of Rancho Mirage. For today, the high is going to be 102 degrees. Normally, we're 106, so we are below average when it comes to temperature, but we are above average when it comes to humidity. Yesterday, we saw some rain here in the Coachella Valley, Palm Springs under a 1/4 inch, Whitewater about 1/3 of an inch, and in Indio, almost 1/2 inch of rain yesterday. This is an enhanced satellite. We're going to see a lot of activity to the east of us. Will it impact us here? Well, definitely with humidity, we do have a chance of slight showers and thunderstorms over the next few days. For today, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. We're surrounded by showers and thunderstorms. We also have a ridge of high pressure near the southwest. That's going to keep temperatures pretty warm and that humidity pretty muggy. For today's high temperatures, Cabazon 100 degrees, Palm Springs 102, Indio 104, up the hill in Joshua Tree we're looking at 93 degrees. Low temps for tonight, it's still going to be warm. Palm Desert and Palm Springs 82 degrees, Thousand Palms 77, Joshua Tree 73, and Banning 69 degrees. For tomorrow, temperatures do start to drop, but that humidity is going to remain uncomfortable. 99 degrees in Palm Springs. You head to the coast, you're looking at low 80s, but the waves out there, we're looking 3 to 4 feet. And remember, this past holiday weekend, Newport Beach lifeguards made hundreds of rescues. So if you're not comfortable or a good swimmer, best to stay in shallow water. Evening stroll tonight is going to be warm. It's going to be muggy. 6 o'clock just under triple digits. 8 o'clock 96 degrees. 10 o'clock just over 90 degrees. And if you're still up at midnight, you're going to finally see some 80-degree weather. High temperatures for tomorrow. Pretty much everything on the board has triple digits. Lows, Idlewild 87. Highs, we're looking at Cathedral City and Rancho Mirage 105. And Comfort Air 7-day forecast. Temperatures do start to drop as we head into the weekend. The good news, it also starts to dry out when it comes to that humidity. And we're looking at those overnight lows going from high 70s to low 80s.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
It's time now for Your Health Today, brought to you by Inland Empire Health Plan. Today, there are new guidelines for blood pressure to help prevent future health conditions like heart disease and dementia. And these new recommendations have doctors being a little more aggressive about high levels of blood pressure. Mandy Gaither has the key points about the new guidelines.
In the U.S., nearly half of all adults have higher than normal blood pressure, but many may not know it. 130/80 millimeters of mercury and higher is considered stage 1 hypertension, according to new guidelines from the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology.
You got to start thinking about people actually having hypertension, calling it hypertension, even at lower numbers, and we have to treat it more aggressively.
High blood pressure doesn't typically have symptoms, but when it shoots up, the force of your blood pushes against the walls of your blood vessels, making your heart work harder. Without treatment, high blood pressure will eventually damage arteries, raising risk of heart attack or stroke. The new guidelines say if your systolic blood pressure is in the 130 to 139 range, lifestyle changes are in order.
Diet and exercise and really cutting back salt. And a big one that they're saying, no alcohol.
If that doesn't work, experts say to then consider medication to help lower blood pressure. The new guidelines say keeping blood pressure at normal levels can not only help heart health, but also help protect your brain in the future.
There was a study out of rural China, actually, and it looked at people who had blood pressure of 130 or higher, and they were basically intensively controlled, meaning through lifestyle changes or sometimes through medications, they were able to bring their blood pressure down. And they found that when they did that, they also lowered their risk of dementia.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, a panel of former Centers for Disease Control workers and leaders sounded off at the state capitol on Tuesday, denouncing the Trump administration's approach to public health as flu season looms. NBC's Doug Richards reports.
Change happens every administration. We're used to that.
Dr. Deb Howery told state lawmakers the first Trump administration competently handled the 2020 COVID vaccine rollout. The second administration has been a bit different.
What I was not ready for was to have decisions made not based on data and science.
Howery resigned from her position as CDC Deputy Director and Chief Medical Officer a few days ago after weeks of tumult at the CDC, concluding with hundreds of rounds of gunfire outside CDC headquarters last month from a man reportedly angry over his own COVID vaccine.
And we're asking that science go first before the policy development and not starting with an ideology and then backing into the science.
Dr. Dan Jernigan worked 31 years in public health before he left the CDC last month, where he led the National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infectious Diseases. He says that under the direction of HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr., the agency has taken a troubling turn.
I feel that they can make it through, but I can't tell right now, given all the cuts to staffing, the cuts to resources, and the undercutting of science.
Dr. Jernigan says Americans can be safer if Kennedy can shift his priorities to get behind legitimate medical science.
And that was NBC's Doug Richards reporting. If you'd like more information on the stories we're airing this morning in our broadcast, you can go to NBCPalmSprings.com. We've got our top stories and breaking news right there on our homepage, and a really cool feature. It's our newsroom tab. You're going to find our stories and community events organized by date. We'll be right back.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. NBC Palm Springs News. Even astronauts tune in for their news fix. When it comes to top stories. Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Welcome back on this Wednesday, September 3rd. I'm Mary Strong. Thanks so much for waking up with us this morning. Kai Beach will have your AccuWeather forecast coming up in just a few minutes, but first a recap of our top stories. Several homes have been destroyed in the historic town of Chinese Camp due to a quick-moving wildfire. Evacuation orders and warnings are in effect for parts of Tuolumne County after lightning sparked a fire Tuesday morning. Reporter Peyton Headley has more on the blaze.
When we first pulled into the community of Chinese Camp at about 5:45 this afternoon, plumes of black smoke filled the horizon. Fires were burning in fields and on properties. Retardant drops were hard to see behind clouds of thick smoke. As we pulled in closer into a neighborhood along Red Hill Road, we saw the destruction this fire left. The flames tore through homes, properties, cars, and power poles as the wind spread embers up and down the neighborhood. From there, we drove along Highway 120 towards Sims Road. We're a little less than a mile from Red Hill Road right now, and you can see just how far this fire spread. Multiple homes here along Highway 120 are also burning. Propane tanks on one of the properties sending flames shooting up into the air. And by the time we got back to Red Hills Road just before 8 o'clock tonight, another property, another home had gone up in flames, joining a number of properties that have burned on this stretch of road here. And as the sun begins to set, you can see those huge flames and the embers that they're sending off with the smoke and the wind.
Anytime that you see any type of destruction, it's tough.
Jamie Williams with CAL FIRE says it's been a challenging day with this fire as just one of more than a dozen fires they're battling.
So our priority is life and then property and then, protecting the resources. So we do our best to get people out of the way, get them safe.
And that was Peyton Headley reporting. A federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration violated the law by sending the National Guard to Los Angeles. The California judge's ruling found that June's mobilization violated the Posse Comitatus Act, which prohibits the president from using the military as a domestic police force without approval from Congress. 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines were sent to L.A. after protests in the city over Trump's immigration policies. Tuesday's ruling orders the Trump administration to return control of the remaining troops to Governor Gavin Newsom and to stop using the military to execute or assist in the execution of federal law. Well, despite that ruling yesterday, President Trump told Chicago that federal forces are indeed coming. Reporter John Lawrence has that story for us.
It's official.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation.
After days of speculation, the Trump administration confirms its plan to send armed military personnel to the Windy City.
Chicago is a hellhole right now.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the land of Lincoln will go to court to fight against the deployment.
The President of the United States likes to go on television and beg me to call and ask him for troops. I find this extraordinarily strange, as Chicago does not want troops on our streets.
At least 58 people were shot in Chicago this Labor Day weekend, according to the city's police department.
Here's the truth. Donald Trump is the last person in America who cares about families on the south and west side of Chicago.
The Chicago Mayor's Office of Violence Reduction says shootings, including fatalities, are on a downward trend thus far this year.
They believe it's acceptable to go from an unacceptable level of crime to an unacceptable level of crime and call that a win.
As for Chicago residents,
sending a National Guard, I believe that it will put us in a situation where the whole city of Chicago will be right back where we started.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, while Trump wages battle with Chicago officials, lawmakers returned to Washington yesterday and are days away from a government shutdown. NBC's Vaughn Hilliard has that story for us.
The House will be in order.
Lawmakers back on Capitol Hill with a big to-do list. Only 14 days to avoid a government shutdown. First, tackling the issue that rocked MAGA world, the Jeffrey Epstein files. Survivors of the convicted sex offender meeting with lawmakers. And today, Republican Thomas Massie and Democrat Ro Khanna filing a motion to push House Speaker Mike Johnson to hold a vote forcing the Department of Justice to release all documents related to Epstein.
This is a good test of whether Republicans actually care about the Epstein files, or whether they're just talking, or whether they're just supporting the president no matter what.
Republican and Democratic lawmakers also wanting answers over the chaos gripping the Centers for Disease Control and confusion over new rules for the COVID vaccine, after Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. pushed out Susan Menares less than a month after her confirmation. 4 agency leaders stepped down after the firing.
America's public health is significantly in danger. And Dimitri, Dan, and I chose to leave together to send that bat signal, essentially.
Kennedy, a vocal vaccine skeptic, is scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill this week. President Trump now challenging pharmaceutical companies to show data on how successful the COVID vaccine is, alarming scientists who say vaccines are safe and effective.
I worked in the prior Trump administration, and we didn't have this issue, and President Trump was the one who launched the COVID vaccines.
All this as the Trump administration deals with the series of legal setbacks. A federal judge over the weekend determining that the administration's use of the National Guard and the Marines in Los Angeles violated federal law because they were used for civilian law enforcement purposes. Another appeals court made the determination that most of the president's unilateral tariffs were illegal. And in the 11th hour this weekend, another federal judge determined that the anticipated deportation of hundreds of Guatemalan children must be put on hold. One aircraft that had some of those children on board was forced to turn around. In Washington, Vaughn Hilliard, NBC News.
Well, a divided federal appeals court says President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act to rapidly deport alleged Venezuelan gang members is unlawful. The decision Tuesday means the law cannot be used in several southern states, blocking a strategy used by the administration in its immigration crackdown. The president has not leaned on the 1798 law for removal since mid-March, when his use of it sparked the first in a series of legal challenges. The court concluded that a predatory incursion by members of the gang Tren de Aragua had not occurred, as Trump claimed, as a reason for invoking the act. The U.S. Supreme Court will likely have the final say on the issue. It wasn't all losses for the Trump administration in court, though. Tuesday, a federal appeals court ruled against several nonprofit groups that had billions in climate grants frozen. The court found that the Environmental Protection Agency was in the right with attempts to reclaim funds and terminate $20 billion in Biden-era climate grants. The ruling serves as a win for the Trump administration's effort to cancel hundreds of environmental grants and focus on fossil fuel production. The grant recipients will likely appeal Tuesday's ruling. Now for your business headlines, here's CNBC's Silvana Hanau. Silvana.
Good morning. Wall Street is set to open slightly higher following yesterday's sell-off as investors cash in profits from the summer rally, with the Dow falling about 250 points. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, those were down more than 0.5%, and a spike in Treasury bond yields also weighing as traders consider the impact of the court ruling that many of President Trump's tariffs are illegal, although the White House does plan to file an appeal. In focus today, we get data on factory orders, we get job listings and auto sales, plus earnings from Macy's, Dollar Tree, and Salesforce. All right, holiday spending could see the steepest drop since the pandemic as shoppers pull back. A new survey by PwC finds consumers plan to spend an average of about $1,500 per person. That's down more than 5% from last year. More than 80% expect to curb their spending over the next 6 months, especially on apparel, big-ticket items, and dining out. More than half say higher prices are likely to affect their holiday decisions. Spending on gifts is expected to take the hardest hit, falling 11% to an average of $721. And Amazon is cracking down on the sharing of Prime free shipping. It's getting rid of the Prime Invitee program, which lets members share free shipping benefits with people outside their household. Now, the program will end October 1st. That's according to a notice sent to users. Instead, Amazon is promoting its Amazon Family Plan, which lets users share Prime benefits with one other adult, but they have to share the same mailing address. With your NBC Morning Business Report, I'm Silvana Henao.
Thanks, Silvana, for that. Disney will pay a $10 million fine to the Federal Trade Commission. The agency says Disney mislabeled some YouTube videos, failing to mark them as made for kids. That allowed for the collection of personal data from children under 13 years old, with their data later used for targeted advertising. The FTC says Disney ignored warnings from YouTube in 2020 about the mislabeling, which exposed children not only to ads, but also to features meant for adults like autoplay. Under the settlement, Disney said it will launch a video review program to ensure proper labeling going forward. The company said the agreement only applies to its YouTube content, not Disney's own platforms. McDonald's is cutting prices on some of its most popular meals. Starting September 8th, the chain will offer 2 limited-time deals nationwide: a $5 sausage McMuffin with egg meal and an $8 Big Mac meal. The move comes after McDonald's reported a sharp drop in low-income customers. McDonald's CEO said re-engaging that group is critical since they visit more frequently than higher-income diners. The company says the bundles mark a savings of more than 15% compared to ordering items separately. Additional discounted meals are expected in November. Now for an interesting story on school phone bans. District leaders with Jefferson County Public Schools in Kentucky are calling it a culture shift. Less than a month into the district's first school year with a new cell phone ban, students are checking out library books at a record rate. Reporter Brian Solinsky has details.
At first, I was real dramatic about the policy. I thought it was going to end my whole life.
Michael is a senior at PRP High, and the new policy he's referring to is a cell phone ban brought about after a new state law prohibiting cell phone use during class and lunch. What Michael found? The policy didn't end his life at all, but instead, putting down the phone has jump-started parts of his life that lay dormant.
I just realized this is a good chance for me to put my phone down and start focusing back in on school.
That focus, he says, is already paying off in ways he never could have imagined, namely his social life.
Helps people socialize, because this year I've talked to people more than I have in all 12 years of me being in school.
Conversing more and reading more too.
What I found is that kids are rediscovering the library again, so we're turning from phones to pages.
Dr. Lynn Reynolds is the JCPS Executive Director of Library Media Services. She says the cell phone ban has had a positive effect on reading. At PRP, for example, students checked out more than 1,000 books in the first 17 days of school. Last year, the entire year, just over 2,100. Ballard, Seneca, Central, Wagner, even some middle schools reporting similar results. And Reynolds says it's not just JCPS. Other districts in Kentucky are telling her the same thing.
I see that there's going to be a shift across the nation.
For Michael, who's already checked out 6 books this year, he can't imagine going back to hours of doom scrolling.
Last year, during the school year, from 6:30 to 10:30 at night, I was on my phone pretty much, I was on it during class. I was on it in the hallways.
Well, earlier we showed you a photo of a location somewhere in the Coachella Valley, and I told you I'd give you a little hint before we revealed the location at the end of our broadcast. So let me show you that photo again. Here's the hint. You can find this eatery on the eastern side of the valley. Think about that. I'll tell you more about this special location coming up later in our broadcast. Mark Marger is going to take us behind the scenes of the new show, The Paper. But first, let's head over to Kai in the Weather Center for a look at what's ahead in your forecast. Kai?
Yeah, hey, Mary, we're tracking hot and humid conditions with monsoonal moisture sticking around for the next few days. I'll have a full forecast coming up right after the break.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Welcome back, everyone, and happy Wednesday morning. Bright blue skies out there, tons of sunshine. What a difference a day makes. Yesterday at this time, we saw a lot of rain. Right now, we're taking a live look at the Agua Caliente casino camera in downtown Palm Springs. As for today, the high 102 degrees, normally 106. We are below average when it comes to temperatures, but we are above average when it comes to humidity. Yesterday's rainfall totals: Palm Springs just under 1/4 of an inch, Whitewater about 1/3 of an inch, and in Indio almost 1/2 an inch of rain. Take a look at the enhanced satellite radar right now. We're seeing a lot of activity to the east of us. We could see some spotty showers and thunderstorms over the next few days. Today it's going to be hot and humid here in the Coachella Valley. That monsoonal moisture, it's going to linger over the next few days. It's going to drop temperatures, but it's going to increase that humidity. High temps for today: Palm Springs 102, east end of the valley, Indio 104, up the hill Joshua Tree 93, Banning 96, and Big Bear City looking comfortable at 72 degrees. Low temps for tonight: Big Bear City 46, Cabazon, do some bargain shopping out there at the outlets, 74, Palm Springs 82, and 29 Palms, we're looking at 80 degrees. For tomorrow, we're under triple digits. Take a look at that, barely 99 degrees in Palm Springs. You head to the coast, you're looking at low 80s, waves out there 3 to 4 feet, sets overhead. Be careful out there in the water. Remember, if you don't know how to swim well, always swim near a lifeguard. Tonight's evening stroll: it's not going to be as hot as it has been the last few days, but it's going to feel uncomfortable with that humidity. 6 o'clock just under triple digits, 8 o'clock 96, and if you're still up at midnight, you're finally under 90 degrees. High temps for tomorrow: Palm Springs under triple digits, but here on the valley floor, the highs are going to be in Cathedral City and Rancho Mirage, both 105. The lows: Idlewild 87, Yucca Valley, we're looking at 93. 7-day forecast brought to you by Comfort Air. Temperatures do start to drop as we head into the weekend. Humidity starts to dry out. Those overnight lows: high 70s, low 80s.
Coming up here on Today, the countdown is on to tomorrow's return of the NFL. Excitement at a fever pitch from coast to coast. And this morning, we're going to add to it when Commissioner Roger Goodell joins us for an exclusive live interview. That and more when we get started right here on Today.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
night after night, discover the unique stories that set our
The NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Oh, welcome back. We're getting set for a jam-packed week of high school football. And after a tough road loss last week against a good team in Central, the Palm Desert Aztecs now 1-1 on the season. Now, the Aztecs set to host Elsinore on Friday. We're bringing it up because last season, Palm Desert edged out the victory against them, winning 7-0. And if any early signs are an indication, Palm Desert's defense is even stronger this year. But questions still remain about their offense. And we caught up with head coach Rudy Forte earlier today to get his thoughts.
I got total faith in our defense. It was a defensive struggle last year, but Elsinore was a lot better this year, so they're going to have their work cut out for them. And as far as the offense, we need to not only sustain the drives, but actually finish drives, put some points on the board. And that's what we're looking forward to.
Elsinore has outscored their opponents 90-14 so far this season, so the Aztecs will certainly need to be lights out on both sides of the ball to come out with a victory on Friday night. Now, the Friday night lights will start a night earlier as they have the last few seasons. Thursday night, we've got Yucca Valley at Cathedral City and Serrano at Xavier Prep. Those are your two local games. Indio will travel to Rialto, and then Desert Hot Springs at Citrus Hill. Friday night, a full slate, 6 games here in the Valley. As we mentioned, Elsinore at Palm Desert. Palm Springs will travel to Coachella Valley. Citrus Valley at La Quinta Yacaipa at Shadow Hills. Taquitz at Rancho Mirage, and then Desert Mirage at Desert Christian. Remember, this season you can catch Friday Night Lights all season long on our website at NBCPalmSprings.com. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Well, it's not a reboot, it's not a spin-off, but a new comedy set within the same universe of NBC's The Office makes its debut Thursday on Peacock. The Paper is also a mockumentary-style comedy, this time about a struggling newspaper in Toledo that gets a new boss. Mark Barker talked to the cast and creators for a little preview for us. Take a look.
My name is Ned Sampson. I am your new editor-in-chief.
With its look and its style, Peacock's new series, The Paper, shares a lot of DNA with that very popular comedy about a paper company. How does it feel coming in under the radar, no expectations, no comparisons?
Very relaxing.
I feel so relaxed right now.
So chill.
Yeah, feeling good. How many of you have actually written for a paper before?
The struggles of a Toledo daily and its staff.
I wrote a paper in junior high.
Not quite the same thing.
I've tweeted.
You've tweeted?
I'm in a group text.
Provide the laughs in this new series.
Here is one of my articles I'm particularly proud of.
All captured by a documentary crew.
Are you on board for revenge?
It was very joyful to be back in that playful shooting style with such a talented group.
Greg Daniels created the U.S. version of The Office, and he enlisted one carryover character for The Paper.
God. Not again. I'm not agreeing to any of this.
How quick of a yes was it for you to join this show and provide somewhat of a thread back to The Office?
He started to say, Oscar, are you interested? And I said, yes. So I didn't even know what the hell he was going to say. I just said yes.
And having Office connections.
Oh, fantastic!
Come in handy when you're launching something new.
They're giving you amazing material with a great writer's room. They kind of set us up incredibly well to kind of get along and always have good material.
Have you read this paper?
Uh-huh.
How do you think it compares to any other paper?
It sucks, but we are going to make it better.
You're looking around and I couldn't believe it every day. Every actor, the writers, people I've looked up to forever and admired, and it's very surreal.
Giving this paper reason for optimism.
Don't be so self-defecating.
And laughter. Mark Barker, NBC Entertainment.
Also, in your entertainment news, sources of upcoming movies range from video games to Broadway. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Stop looking backwards, David. But ladders is what we do next.
What's next for Call of Duty is a movie. Paramount and Activision are set to partner on a live-action feature film based on the massively popular video game franchise. The next game in the series, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, is due out November 14th.
My name is Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton is hitting theaters. The film, featuring the original Broadway cast, debuts Friday, 10 years after it opened on Broadway. It'll be the first time the Tony, Grammy, Emmy, and Pulitzer Prize-winning show has reached the big screen.
It would mean the collapse of public media.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is being honored even as it's shutting down. Patricia DeStacey Harrison, president and CEO of the CPB since 2005, is set to accept the Television Academy's 2025 Governor's Award on behalf of the organization, honoring its decades of support for educational, cultural, and public interest programming. The award will be presented at this weekend's Creative Arts Emmys. The CPB is laying off most employees September 30th. After the U.S. government withdrew its funding. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We're going to head outside and take a live look at your Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. It's clearing up out there. We're going to be right back with a recap of your weather forecast and reveal our Where in the Valley special location. You're watching NBC Palm Springs in the morning. Stay right here.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
It's time now to reveal our special location for our broadcast. Did you guess where this is? Well, this is the Local on 50th in Indio. It's off Jefferson Street and offers a modern twist on fun American cuisine. They also hold lots of events there on a regular basis, so check out their website to learn more. It looks cool, doesn't it?
It does look cool.
Really
yeah.
nice.
What would you pony up? What would you order at the bar?
Oh, you know, my new drink is a whiskey sour with the froth, the egg froth on top.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's so good.
Let's
yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
It's on. You said it's going to be muggy today.
Muggy for the next few days, starts to dry out as we head into the weekend, but the conditions right now, bright blue skies.
Oh, so nice. We're going to have more news for you coming up at 11 on your midday news, and we hope you go out and make it a great day today. We'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning.